Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. Let me just pop on my webcam so that you can all see who you're talking to. My name is Kirsty. I work for Focus Technology Group. This is my first time hosting a webinar, although I am a serial attendee of these. I would just like to let you know that this is being recorded and can be made available to you for the future. If you would like to ask me any questions, you are welcome to enter in something in the chat box that you have on your screen, and I will come back to those later on in the course. I would also just like to let you know that this is a course as a precursor to the class that we're going to hold for Clarity Fundamentals. So I'll hop off the camera now so that we can get on with this. Let me introduce you to the course that we're going to be holding. The team at Focus are hosting a Clarity Fundamentals training course, which will be covering locating and identifying Clarity forms and reports for editing, identifying Clarity report writing tabs within the designer and how each of them are used. We will also be covering the toolbars and how to apply basic formatting techniques, including inserting logos and graphics into your forms and reports, changing text fields, applying fonts and formatting, and adding extra fields to adding extra existing fields into a report and incorporating system variables. I will come back and cover some of the things that we will be covering in this course as well further on. Clarity in MYOB. What is Clarity? It's a reporting tool. It's a designer that is quite powerful, and it allows users to create forms and reports that can be customized to each organization's reporting needs. These forms and reports can be customized, the formats can be changed, the order of the data can be altered so that it is more meaningful, and they can also display company information. Like I've said, your company logos, and things like your addresses, emails, bank accounts, and things like that. Let me give you some examples of some of the reports that we have available. I'm just going to open up EXO for you. So most of your reports that you will see are found in your drop-down listings. These are customized for you when you first get EXO installed. Did you know that MYOB EXO comes with around 355 reports straight out of the box? These can be found within the Clarity Report browser, and I'll show you very shortly how to get there. These reports are fantastic if you are looking for something that you currently don't have. The reason why we don't have all of these reports in your main menu is because then your profile would take a very long time to load every time that you log into EXO. So within your reports menu, we keep it very simple with what you would regularly use, but you still have within the Clarity Report browser a very long list of reports available to you out of the box. I'll just go back. If we come into the reports graphical menu, you will find a button that says Clarity Report Browser. You click on that. If you expand out all reports, if your reports have been classified into their groups, they will become available underneath each list for you. This is really helpful for you as a user to see what kind of reports you have already available to you. You may look at these and find that there are most of what you need and that you may need it to have it customized. This is great because you can come back to us at Focus and let us know that there is something similar to what you are after and tell us where it needs to be changed. These reports can be run by clicking on Run Report. And if we were And we'll run that for you so that you can see what it looks like. And you can also edit them. So by selecting a report and clicking edit, it will open the Clarity Report Designer. Editing in Clarity. The report designer can be somewhat intimidating when you first load it. Our course will cover this for you and taking out all of the question marks, I guess, when you first look at it. Let me open up what it looks like when you first log into the report designer. Still within the graphical menu for reports, there is a button called Clarity Report Designer. I already have mine open down the bottom here. And in that, we can view a report or a form that we have in here that we have already listed. So, for example, the last 5 that have been edited will be listed in here. And we can open up new forms and reports. This will default to your Clarity folder location and allow you to view those. These are your 355. The CLR at the end of your naming here is the format is for reports. And you'll notice down here, if we expand that out, we also have CLFs, which are our forms. I'll explain the difference between the two shortly. If I expand this out just a little bit further, you'll also see some other formatting that we have. These will be covered in the course in helping you get the most out of your Clarity forms and reports. Just bring you back to what is a form? A form is a document that is related to the transactional screens within EXO and will pass in the relevant information for items in an associated list. It sounds really hard to understand, so let me put this in a little bit simpler way. A list would be, for example, your debtors list. The form in itself could be your invoices. Through the list, an invoice will pick up the debtor information, the client's address, their name, and it will pass through any transactions on the invoice. So it keeps it very, very related to the client. The types of forms that we have include our job sheets, our sales orders, purchase order forms, as well as our invoices and statements. If I give you an example of a form within our Clarity Designer. So from within File, I am going to select my email invoice.clf. This is the one that would be emailed out to our clients versus the printed one, which is just called invoice.clf. And this is our form. As you can see, it will pick up the information from the client and it would only display per invoice the relevant transactions. If I bring you through to the Preview tab, you will see an invoice that I have loaded. They pay a lot of money, these people. No parameters are ever passed into a form. So a form is really generated from within EXO. So what's the difference between a form and a report? Generally, a report is used to display the accumulation of data that is within EXO, but it can behave like a form and it can allow that user to pass in parameters. So for example, you can have a invoice report that looks like your invoice form and you pass in the invoice numbers. Both a form and report can be highly customized. I shall open a report at the moment that I have for you. Oh, and I'm back and I'm gone. Opening business. Here's an example of a report. Within the designer, it looks very minimal in what it's got, and you can't actually see any of the detail in here. Each of these fields, though, does represent some information for you. To show you some examples of parameters, I will give you a view of some of the parameters for this report. So this report can be run against account groups. It can be limited by accounts, run within a date range, against specific salespeople, or within a period, or any combination of those, helping you to get the best data that you can out of what you've entered into EXO already. As you can see, the report in itself actually returns a lot more information than what it looks like within the designer. And that's through passing your parameters through. As you can see, there's a grouping by groups at the top, account group, trade, and then it lists all of the debtor accounts underneath them and the corresponding information. The parameters are not available, I'll reiterate this, in a form. One thing I should point out for you that is really helpful when you are looking for particular reports is the name of the report. Oftentimes we'll ask you what report you're running, or you may be looking at the report that you're running yourself so that you can come back to it and edit it. Down the bottom here, we have what we call a system variable that actually picks up the name of the report. This displays when the report is printed, and it can be edited. So if you have a copy, you could come into Tools, within Settings, and the name of the report is here. We often have a lot of questions coming through to us about reports. One of the biggest ones that we have is, can I format my invoice or report? A lot of people would like the ability to be able to make small changes to things that they have already that are working for them. Good examples are adding in Christmas hours, small notes against accounts, changes of bank information, those sorts of things. Yes, you can do this, and our Basic Clarity Fundamentals course will cover how you can do this, so you're more than welcome to join us for that. Other than that, the Clarity Designer in itself does allow some flexibility with just a glance within the design screen. Another question that we have is, can my report include information from other modules within the EXO package, like job costing? It's really important that we're quite clear on this. It is possible so long as this information does flow through from one module to the next. So for example, job costing transactions are eventually turned into invoices, and so they can be linked back through to the debtor accounts. I will take you through my next question. How do you find the report file name from within a menu? You're welcome to take note of the answer in here, but I will also physically show you how to find the report name that you are looking at. So if you've discovered a report that you would like to try editing or have edited, then this is how you would find it. If we come to the drop-down menus at the top of MYOB EXO's business to set up, and click on that, we have the option Set Up Menu. The highlighted in green menu is the menu that you are currently logged in with. If we double click on this, it gives us the layout that we have on our drop-down menus across the top of EXO. If we expand out our reports, it will give us the same grouping that we have within our reports drop-down menu, and we can double click on one of these to view the name of the report that we are looking for. I do recommend very, very strongly that you always cancel your way back out of the screen once you have obtained this information, as you could change the name on accident and the report won't run. And lastly, what is a parameter? I've come up with a brilliant answer that probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Parameters are a collection of selection options that the user can choose to narrow down the results of a report and to control how the information is grouped and displayed. So parameters are really your way of ordering the data before you actually run the report. What this allows you to have in the end is a very, very flexible report that can actually return different results considering the parameters that have been chosen. So once again, I'll bring you back to my report that has parameters in it. And display them so that you can see how this could be run quite differently at various times. Same report, returning slightly different data depending on what's chosen. As a tool, this is hugely flexible and very, very powerful when you think about how you may have the same data in one area, but you need to run it for slightly different people. There is a different need to group it in another way. Right. Would anybody like to ask any questions about any of this? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Would you like to know anything more about the course that's coming up? Can you see where the chat is? No. If you do come up with any questions that you would like answers on, or you've had the opportunity to have a look at the designer, and please feel free to jump in and have a look at things, and you'd like to ask us any questions, you're more than welcome to email us at support@focus.net.nz. And don't forget, please register any interest that you have in our up and coming course. I do believe for the most, new user to this, that it could be very, very helpful for you to come along. At the moment, it's booked in for the 25th of November. We will be sending out more information about this, and we are very looking forward to being able to deliver it to you. Thank you very much for your time.